Bob, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me here.
So Bob, how has the field of metabolomics evolved over the last decade or so, and what's the role been of LCMS?
So it's evolved very rapidly. I mean, if you look at the number of publications on the field, they're ramping up exponentially. And I think that what we've seen over the last decade is a lot of important methods development, and especially in the area of LCMS, sort of looking at different column types, what's going to work for different samples and so on. The evolution of mass spectrometry has been so fast, it's like, every year new things are being done. And ultimately, I kind of think that the bottleneck is becoming two things. One is how to identify many of these features that we're detecting that might be interesting. And then secondly, how to turn this into biological information. So sort of an informatics components as well as chemical identification. I think we've gotten, although there's still room to be improved, we've gotten good at a lot of the other parts of it, but I would say that's where we're at this point.
Yeah, you have sort of data overload.
Yeah, it can be, yeah. Yeah, and at data overload in the sense of we have many peaks. This one's changing. What is it? There's nothing in the database that matches, or there is something. There's 10 things that matches in the database, and we need to try to figure that out. And we can't get a standard for it. So that's a real limiting factor.
All that takes time, doesn't it?
Yes. And it's going to start to involve people like with maybe organic synthesis backgrounds, more than you might think of for an analytical problem, and definitely computer backgrounds. I mean, I think we have a metabolomics center at the University of Michigan, and actually one of the biggest component of it is bioinformatics people. Now, certainly that was supposed to be the strength of our center compared to some of the other centers that are around, but that just kind of goes to show. I mean, I used to think of the analytical part being the hard part, but actually the informatics part's getting there.
And when you say bioinformatics, you're really talking then about correlating these data to, say, disease states and that sort of thing?
Yeah, well, I'm really using it in a very general way. I mean, it's everything from you have a data set, getting the most out of it, analyzing the data, up to mapping metabolites on a pathways, trying to understand what these mean in terms of what pathways have changed, and as I said, identifying the markers is part of that as well.